Hello YouTube viewers, welcome to my channel Science to Technology. In today's show, Camera Tuesday, we're gonna talk about MixPre-III Mark II. So let's dive right into it. Now here we are talking about a bit kind of unknown kind of company, that is sound devices. Now you have heard of Zoom. There is a very good chance you may have already used it. You may have heard of Tascam as a cheaper alternate to Zoom, but sound devices is not something that every Tom, Dick and Harry knows about it. And the primary reason for that is it's a big boy, meaning it's a big name in audio equipment for Hollywood industry and Bollywood industry. Basically any place where your talent cost is significantly high enough, you'll be like, you know what, let's not cut the cost on the equipment. So in those sort of arena, sound devices are kind of like, big known name. So it's almost like, Ferrari and Lamborghini kind of thing, and they are creating an affordable offering for like, general purpose use and like the upcoming YouTuber market, upcoming podcasting and all that jazz. So MixPre. Now MixPre has a 3 variant, 3, 6 and 10, and the 3 variant that I'm talking about here starts at $825. Now you're like, wait a minute, almost 60,000 rupees is just a cheap offering. Yes, that should give you a context of it. Like try googling the cost of Scorpio recorder from this company. That should give you some context. This is very cheap. Now this has 3-channel XLR input, which may sound out, people are generally used to either you have 2 or you have 4, but they have decided to give you 3, but that's one of those things. And it has 32-bit float audio, because I specified, like, this is the 3rd video I'm making on 32-bit audio float recorder, because this is the next thing. Slowly over time we will get 32-bit audio in almost everything, not for basically delivering files, but always for recording it. And it has many pro level features which directly translates to ease of use, meaning if you are a basically working professional where you are like, doing multiple recording per day, it has many subtle functions. Now that may not look like, oh, is it worth like, paying this kind of prices? Not in the early stages of your career, but once you start to go through grinding, saving even every minute of time, every recording translates to a lot. So in those sort of time, people will simply say, shut up and take my money. So let's dive deeper into it. Now we are talking about audio recorder. What about audio quality? Well, there are 2 sides of audio recording. First is analog, and then there is digital. Now 32-bit makes digital plug and forget. You do not have to think about it. You just plug it, it works. There is no hoo-ha, there is no fade adjustment, there is nothing. You just plug it. It does not have 24-bit limitation. It's just like, don't think too much about it. You do not have to think about on the digital side. Now again, you can buy very cheap equipment, like for example, the cheapest I have seen is F3, and then there is Tascam also has that. But what's the difference between all those 3 recorders is the preamp, the basically equipment that is directly talking to the microphone. What's the difference there? Like, that's the preamp that you are paying for. So it uses ultra low noise Kashmir microphone preamps. Now does that mean anything? Any people who have used the industry equipment, they are like, this is one of the top quality. Now again, it was even topper than that, but at this point in time, you reach a point, what we call point of diminishing return. Yeah, you can buy something better, but it's like, it really does not translate too well. It's like, this is much better than like, almost everything, but problem is like how you're delivering it, how you're delivering your final content. If it's going through, let's say, cinema level mixing, going through Atmos surround sound, yeah, it makes sense. But if it's like all you're gonna do it like, make it a radio podcast and all that, it's like, is there bit depth to justify that kind of cost? Not really. So this is one of those things where it's like, you are touching the pro end, ultra low noise Kashmir microphone preamp. So analog side is pretty top quality, as in like, if you are complaining that preamps is not good enough, maybe it has coloring, because you have to understand, whenever you're talking about photo and video, audio and all that, there is a part of art to it, meaning you cannot okay, this is the exact vibration that I'm replicating. Physics does not allow that. And again, not on top of that, even if you can physically create a device that physically replicates it, you may not like it. That's why, like, every time you're like, you want more sharpness. The moment you start to see people photographing sharpness, the first thing they buy is like, hey, let's put a glitter lens on top of it. So what's that? That makes your photo blurry. You really don't want to see every single cracks. So this is one of those things, like, if you are having issue, there may be a fault. Again, these are mass-produced equipment. You can end up buying a product that is broken or something damaged, or it's just user error. That's the whole point of this sort of ecosystem. Basically, you buy it and you forget about it. You do not think too much about it. It's like, is my recorder working? Is there a fault in recorder? No. It's like, you plug it, it works, or it does not work. Like, there is no, it works 5-10% time, 10%. Nah, this is like reliable equipment. So audio quality wise, you do not have to think too much about it. So what are these pro level functions. Primary pro level function, that is internal linear time code functions, generator and output. Now that simply means you can literally, if you have cable options, you can daisy chain multiple camera to this recorder if you need that, or you can, even if you have wireless recorder, you do not need to buy one extra transmitter for the audio side of the things. That may not sound that big of a deal, but it is a big of a deal. Every time you remove equipments from your supply chain, basically your pipeline, your production becomes far more reliable, because the chances of you forgetting to, like, hey, I forgot to charge the battery, hey, I forgot to sync it, or I forgot to do this, goes down. And again, human error is the primary hassle. So less human error possibilities equals good. So having internal inbuilt time code generator, good. Now it also has USB pen drive for auto copy of file, meaning every time you start recording, it creates a file on the SD card. The moment you stop the recording, it copies that file, dumps it into pen drive. Now it is not a true backup, but it is really good backup, and specifically for user point of view, it's priceless, simply because that you are doing this. At the end of the day, all you have to do is plonk the pen drive, put it in your computer, done, directly, Control C, Control V. You do not have to pull out the SD card, you don't have to think about it. That's really efficient. That removes, like, a few minutes that you are removing in your work life translates to a lot of hours saved per month. So that's one of those things that may sound a very trivial thing, but for a professional, that saves so much time. And it has inbuilt Bluetooth. Finally, I'm fed up of F3 and Tascam X8. It's like, why the heck you need me to, like, especially X8, it's $500 equipment. Why the heck I have to buy a separate Bluetooth transmitter? This has inbuilt Bluetooth, and they also have app for Android and iOS, and both are working. It's not just like it may happen, all that. No, it's there from day one. It's there, and it also supports keyboard. You can just plug a basic cheap keyboard. Now, like, is that really worth it? Short answer: this is one of those functions that people say, shut up and take my money. Because whenever you are doing shots, there is a very good chance you may be capturing things out of order. Meaning, if your movie, you are trying to do movie scenes, you can have, like, end the scene, part 12 is shot in the first time, and then it's like, in the beginning, then you have something else. Now again, if you are not storing the metadata properly, good luck. Now video does have the advantage that whenever you see the slate has a lot of text information, so you can just see that. But in audio, you have to listen to the whole thing, and again, if you do not know the script, how will you know whether it's that? So in audio, metadata tag is really, really priceless. So in those sort of scenario, having the fact that you can just plug a keyboard, write out the name, or have a basically Android app and edit the basically metadata tag, all of that is simply shut up and take my money. This really helps that. And not to mention, keyboard can also act as a dumb controller device. Basically just adjust things, start and stop recording, add markers, all those things. Basically everything that makes your life easier in post-processing can be done, and this device will not fight you. It will actually accommodate you. Like, think of it this way, like USB keyboard functionality is like, like 1998 kind of old. So they're like, what if we incorporate that? What if, like, instead of trying to type, like, your name in a tiny screen, what if you can just use a keyboard? Because again, many times you do not want to deal with a mobile phone. Again, people get it. Like, many times you may have restrictions, like avatar kind of shooting, they are very strict about mobile phones. Use a keyboard. And whenever you are talking about big setups, again, MIC-3 that I'm talking about only has 3 inputs, so it's not that important. But again, maybe you want something like, analog, where it's like, I'm adjusting the fader, I'm adjusting the limiter, I'm adjusting the pan, if you want that, how would you get that? Now in Zoom cases, you can buy some external equipment that gives you that functionality at ludicrously high prices. And this company is like, hey, there is something built for this, which is called MIDI interfaces. So MIDI interfaces, you can just plug it for. Now be mindful, this company has only tested few MIDI interfaces, and they will create a list, like, this interface, like a AKAI MIDI interface works perfectly well for us. Like, they have, like, a lot of tested pro end equipments. But that gives you options where you can, like, hey, this MIDI interface is good enough, I will buy this. You do not have to buy, like, SoundCloud itself. So that's a really good option. And it also has multiple power option, which is thankfully becoming something that you will find more of. It also has full size SD card. Again, that also means you can use UHS 2 SD cards. So while writing the file does not benefit from that extra speed, but while you're dumping the file from recorder to your computer, that saves time. All of these things, all of these little things translate to a very good working experience. Again, this is one of those things that when you are starting out in your field, when you are broke, you don't care about it. But the moment you start to become serious about it, once you start to make some profit, that's the first thing you think about. It's like, how can I make my pipeline efficient? And if you're not thinking about it, I guarantee you will be bitch slapped by someone who is thinking about this. So is this amazing? Well, no, it does have some limitation. Now, one of the frustrating part is like they are calling it like prosumer kind of equipment. It does not have true redundant recording, and that is a big issue, especially if you are like starting out. You could have like, again, SD card is just a SD card, it could fail. That's why like even the multi-billion-dollar server industry is like, even if you have the military grade ultra hardened ultra tested SSDs, they are like, what, we'll just put 2 of them. How about we put another backup server itself? So it is one of those things that we have learned the hard way, that there is no alternate to having true redundancy. Not having that is kind of like a compromise, but again, at this sort of price range is like, it's acceptable. Now, AA battery uses, that's stupid. That's just flat out stupid. It literally looks like they made the product line. It has 3 products, and they made a product line, and before they launch, it's like somebody's like, wait a minute, are you actually expecting us to use 8 AA batteries? And then somebody sat down, is like, yeah, that's just stupid. And then they gave Sony L battery caddies. Now, Sony L battery is becoming one of those things that like everybody uses, from LED lights to K-Finity cameras to basically zoom recorders. Everything, every Tom, Dick and Harry is using L batteries from Sony. Now that's awesome. Problem is that they did not design it from day one. So literally this looks like somebody created a caddy at the last moment. It's like it just create something with it, and you have to stuck like this. Now this makes it very clunky, and if you have a sound bag and if you do not accommodate for it, it's not just something like a cassette where you put it in. It requires like extra step at the backwards. It's like, this is stupid, and you have to buy this extra. On a $800 equipment, you have to buy this extra. That's why I'm saying like the AA battery setup is like, really? So this is one of those things where it's like, it's last minute, like let's try to fix a problem. That's stupid. And this is flat out bordering on scamming. Is like they said on basically conference, I provided the video down below, where they're like first announcing that MixPre lineup. They were showing they're going to use combo jacks, basically XLR and quarter inch jack. Awesome. And they showed it. They were like actual footage. People like seeing the real world, real footage, real product is there. But now you will notice that, dude, quarter jack is basically quarter inch jack is missing. It's not combo anymore. And combo is still present in Mix 3, basically Mix 6 and Mix 10 is there. So what happened? Most likely it's a supply chain constraint, or they may be like, just troll the audience. But this was like stupid. It's like you showed the public that you will provide this, and you have this. It's like you have it in like, old screenshots, old products. It's like somehow they made it inferior. That's stupid. And it does not have no auto limited 24-bit output. Like, why? If you are paying so much for 32-bit recording, why would you want to have limited 24-bit output? Limited 24-bit output simply means your file is 32-bit. Basically, microphones are coming in, they are recorded in 32-bit float. So that's awesome. After that, there is software that is reading the file and converting it to 24-bit. Basically, it's just aligning it properly so it does not clip. Now, 24-bit audio is very good at high-end sound. Basically, if you're closer to 0 dB, it's really crisp. That's why you do not want to, set your microphone very low. It's like 24-bit setup is not a very fine-tuned for recording very low faint sound. So you always want to like, close to clipping, as close as possible. Now, if you have 32-bit digital file, you can digitally denoise it, denoise, I'm saying adjust it. Basically your limiter is digital. It's like your file is this big and you are like adjusting it based on the amplitude. That's awesome. That is there in F3, and that's one of those things. Like imagine if this had that, and for podcasting, for basic work, you can just plug the output from this to your camera and done. And again, this can send the signal loud enough where it suppresses the noise of your preamps in your camera, and you are getting a quality output. So these are little things, but again, this thing I do expect to become the next big thing, because 24-bit is one of those things that is like, it's here, it's gonna stay here forever. It's not gonna go away. And 32-bit, because of the latitude, the stupid amount of latitude it has, it will always become the next studio format. It's like something that, in production we use that, but never in delivery. Like you never deliver raw files to a customer. You always deliver JPEGs to customer or PNG. So that's one of those things. Like 32-bit will become the back-end thing, and 24 will become the what customer gets. So in those sort of scenario, having that limiting output really simplifies your operation for on-camera scratch audio recording, on-camera basically direct, wherever you need to direct without post-processing. That should be awesome. So there are some limitations. It is a good equipment, one of the best you can get for sub $1,000, but it's not wow. It's like, it's really good, and some things are really annoying. So this was my presentation on an audio recorder. Hopefully you have liked it, learned from it. In that case, please click the like button, share it amongst your friends. That will help me a lot. If you didn't like it, didn't enjoy it, I urge you to press dislike. Press it twice to show me extra disappointment. Please leave a comment, because I do try to reply to all of them. Subscribe, press the bell icon if you're free, and as always, thanks for watching.